On to our next bout of the evening. First up, welcome to the cage, Austin Lutchen.
All right, our last amateur fight of the night here at Chosen Few Fighting Championships. Number 15 features Austin Lutchen, who is coming to the cage right now, fighting out of Red Schaefer MMA. A pretty impressive amateur record of 4 victories, only 1 defeat for Lutchen, who is sporting the cornrows as he comes into the cage tonight. As we take a look at the Carbon World Health tail of the tape, there is Lutchen sans cornrows, as we will now take a look at JT Schulte.
Next up, his opponent, JT Schulte.
He wins the walkout song battle.
You like that? Here comes JT Schulte, and he always has one of the more impressive bodies that you will see coming into the cage. All of that muscle packed into just 170 pounds. Schulte fighting out of the Chosen Few gyms and looking to get back on the winning track after falling to a big left hand back on El Cinco de Mayo right here in this cage. We'll see if Schulte can get another amateur victory as he heads up to the cage. Once again, here is Chris Garrity.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our 7th and final amateur bout of the evening, and it's brought to you by Vortex. Scheduled for 3 rounds in our amateur welterweight division. Introducing first this man, fighting out of the Coliseum bar, red corner. He stands in at 5 foot 11 inches tall, weighing in at 171 pounds. He represents Red Schaefer Mixed Martial Arts and hails from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He has an impressive amateur record, 4 victories, only 1 defeat. Please welcome to the cage, Austin Funky Bird Lutchen. His opponent, this man, standing across the cage and fighting out of the Harley-Davidson of Madison, blue corner. He represents the Chosen Few Gym and hails from right here in Madison, Wisconsin. In 2 amateur bouts, he has 1 victory. Standing in at 5 foot 8 inches tall, he weighed in at 170 ready pounds. Please welcome JT Schulte.
JT Schulte taking on the Funky Bird, and yeah, that's a pretty apropos nickname there for one Austin Lutchen. Along with Chris Garrity and Gerald Mearshart, I am Rich Reynolds, cage side for this one. And the last time we saw JT Schulte was back in May, El Cinco de Mayo. He took a huge left hand from Jacob Jossart, and he didn't get up from it as he got knocked out. His first loss as an amateur. We'll see how he bounces back from that. You know, I think how you come back off a loss really kind of defines you as a fighter.
Right, and even looking at that loss, JT was, in control of most of that fight up to that point, but, as we see in physics and what it teaches us is that force is mass times acceleration. You got that much mass coming in that fast, it doesn't matter what the guy throws at you. If you run into a strike, you're kind of hurting yourself by doing that, and, that's what he unfortunately found out that night, so we'll see if he can pick his range a little bit better, really decide when he wants to explode and come in and really judge that distance and, pick his shots. And right now we see him being a little more cautious, trying to test his range out, figure out the way around the long limbs of Austin in this first round.
And I don't know if you have the numbers or not, Rich, but it does look like to be at least a 3 to 4 inch reach difference between these two fighters. Schulte a lot more compact, so I like actually the way Lutchen's starting this fight out. He's keeping that lead leg forward, throwing the jab out, making sure Schulte doesn't get too close. So a good start for Austin.
And Gerald, I'm going to have to take your word on that equation. I was not good at physics. So. What was that again? There was force?
Force is mass times acceleration.
All right, perfect. I used to do the little like cheat sheet thing back in high school to pass that kind of stuff. As take a look at the funky bird with a good right, and then it follows it up with a kick there on JT Schulte, as both guys still trying to feel each other out here in the opening round.
Next time you're at the bar, Rich, and you see one of those punching machines, it's going to measure your force times acceleration.
There you go.
Exactly. That was the. Like you said, Chris, Austin doing a good job putting that jab out there. He even caught that little leg kick, hung up JT for a second to land a punch of his own. You know, JT is a shorter fighter, but right now we see him sitting back a little bit too far and upright. So he's got his legs, you know, squatted down a little bit, but his upper body, he keeps leaning back and making his upper body go straight back. It's not a good position, especially for the shorter guy. He wants to stay inside, start parrying those punches, maybe slip and get an angle, but moving back like that is only going to help Austin keep his reach.
And right when you said that, he leaned back and Austin caught him with a nice outside leg kick on that lead leg. So Austin sees it too, and I think because that leg starting to get a little raw, JT finally moved in to make this a little bit dirtier fight.
He did. You could see the raspberry in the back of the left leg there of JT Schulte, as then he came in with an overhand right, and that's what got him to be able to get to this position right now as he's trying to lean in on the funky bird. Looking for a takedown, couldn't get it. Still going for that single leg takedown, but it is Lutchen who fights it off and stays on his feet and advances to round number 2. We'll be back for that here from the Monona Terrace on 57 Sports. Action from round number 1. We actually saw a lot of dancing, a lot of feeling out from these two guys. When the action did happen, what were we looking at?
Looked like Austin was really feeling comfortable. He was, you know, not a ton of activity, but picking his shots well, staying long. You saw him hang up that leg kick, return a punch, and a head kick of his own. At the very end of the round right here, we see JT picking it up, getting it in there, getting dirty, really making this fight how he has to if he wants to win, getting inside and doing everything he can to put pressure on Austin.
And if you're in Austin's corner, you're telling him keep the center of the cage. Center of the cage is yours. What you don't want to happen is 3 more minutes of what just happened against the cage there. So you tell him center of the cage, make sure you're circling to his weaker hand or his weaker side, but do not let him stalk you and walk you down.
That's what Schulte was able to do at the end of the first round. That left leg, the back of it still pretty red there where Lutchen was working on him in round number 1. We'll see if he goes back to work on the same spot here, and there they are in the aforementioned center of the cage where Lutchen looks very comfortable.
And right here we see JT backing up again. Return nice right there, but again, you're sitting back that far with your upper body, you can't connect. He's got to stay in. He might have to eat a couple coming in and just get in there and get grimy. You know, maybe slip a jab of Austin's and come over the top with an overhand right as he's throwing that punch. Interrupt the combination instead of waiting for Austin to throw to return your own strikes.
And there's an opening to do that. Watch every time Austin throws that right outside leg kick, he drops his left hand. It's a perfect time for Schulte to absorb a kick, come in with an overhand. It can happen because that left hand drops every single time he throws that kick.
Good right by Schulte, and that rocked Lutchen and brought him back. Now he follows up with a knee and again has Lutchen against the side of the cage. This is where Schulte wants to be.
Right there, that exchange. That's what Schulte wants all night. Coming in, he lands those short, chopping punches over the top, backs him against the cage, and right now you got space to do it all over again, but you can't hang out here too long. Austin's very comfortable and very precise with these jabs from the outside and these leg kicks.
And those kicks have been scoring for Lutchen. He went downstairs so often, I think Schulte thought that was going to happen again. This time he went upstairs, much to the delight of this packed house here at Monona Terrace.
And again, watch Lutchen's left hand. It goes down around his waist. It's hanging down there for the most part now, but every time he throws that kick, it drops all the way down.
Lutchen with a push kick there, knocking Schulte back. Again, back to the center of the cage where Lutchen has controlled the action so far here in the first 2 rounds. Final minute of the second round, and JT Schulte has got to put some action up here. He's got to get inside. Good right there by Schulte, and Lutchen counters again with a shot to the midsection of Schulte.
Schulte's showing flashes of what he should be doing, but then there again, he came in with the combination and stopped just a little too soon. You got to interrupt Austin in the middle of his strikes. At the very least, try and snatch up one of those leg kicks, but this leaning back as you're getting hit is not going to help him on his way to victory.
Good left jab, then a spin kick, and Lutchen follows that up with a couple of rights, and that's an impressive display of offense there from Mr. Lutchen.
And it's real short time for Schulte right now. He's losing this fight. At least he should be on all the scorecards here. So he better get a sense of urgency, or this is going to go to an easy 30-27 decision.
Lutchen again displaying another impressive kick, and Schulte trying to get something going, but he keeps getting backed off by the taller Austin Lutchen. All right, we will go to the third and final round right after this on 57 Sports. All right, checking out the replays here from round number 2. And again, a lot of Austin Lutchen scoring, especially when he's in the center of the cage.
Yep, Austin just looking money all night from the middle of the cage, just keeping Schulte on his heels, taking advantage of him backing off, doing a really good job landing punches, and then as soon as Schulte backs off and pulls back, free leg kick every single time. Mixed it up a little bit, went to the head a couple times, looking great on his feet, not being intimidated at all by the stature of Schulte, and not letting himself get phased when he's against the cage. And right now I can see Chris pointing, it looks like Schulte is a little bit gassed out. Austin looks fine. He looks fresh and calm in his corner.
That's exactly what I was pointing at, Gerald. Schulte's going to need to find some energy from deep down, suck it up, and go do something about it, or he's going to lose this fight.
Yeah, and like you said, he's probably going to have to eat a couple shots if he wants to get inside on Lutchen. Does he have it in him in this third round to do it? We will find out. Good kick right to the nose there of JT Schulte, as he is getting a little bit closer to Lutchen than what we have seen in the previous 2 rounds.
A little more competitive in the exchanges, but still just letting Schulte initiate the exchange and finish the exchange, and at the very least landing that jab at the beginning and end, and stealing jabs here and there in between. It's just racking up points for Austin. He's looking really good, really smooth, nice Superman punch through that little teep kick to the face, unfazed by the leg kicks and the overhand rights, and just looking like a very calm, seasoned fighter in this amateur fight.
When I talked to Damien and Kane after this fight, if it continues this way and Schulte loses it, I know what they're going to say to me. He didn't listen to a word we said.
And it happens so many times where guys won't follow the instruction of their corner. It drives corners nuts. I mean, it really does, and they will complain about it. And Schulte, I'm not sure if he's not taking the advice, but I doubt that this is the advice that he was given in his corner.
Well, I know those guys pretty well. Damien's a veteran of over 50 fights. Kane Rizzo, one of the best black belts for mixed martial arts here in Wisconsin, also had a pro fighting career himself. And I know that this is what they were instructing him to do, not stand in the center of the cage and get picked off.
Yeah, this last 30 seconds here has been, that's what they want to see from Schulte all night. He came in, stalked him down through a nice overhand right, pressure against the cage, landing little knees and shots. And if this would have been the story over 3 rounds, it would have been an easy victory. But now he's got to either get this takedown or open up and try and get a finish.
Good combo by Schulte, but then it is Lutchen who's able to get out of it and back to where he is comfortable, standing right there in the center of the cage.
It has to be a gas tank thing, Rich. I just don't think he's got the energy left to keep that type of dirty fight up.
Coming in once again is Schulte, leading with that right hand, trying to get something going here in the final 60 seconds of round number 3. Lutchen lands a right, and the crowd trying to egg Schulte on as he follows up with a big overhand right, another combo, gets Schulte up against the side of the cage, and finally gets that takedown.
That wasn't a takedown. That was a jump to a guillotine is what it was. And look, now he spun him over. JT is in a lot of trouble here.
He is indeed, as there's blood on the side of JT Schulte, as Lutchen now getting a choke in once again on Schulte. He is bleeding profusely from his face right now.
Gave up position there going for the back, but with 10 seconds left, there's not going to be enough time.
Arm
Still
bar.
go for an arm bar, yep.
Yeah, every time you think Lutchen might be in a little trouble, he's actually not doing a great job of keeping Schulte off balance, and it should be a victory, although we've seen the judges make a couple of questionable decisions here tonight. We'll see if they get this one right. As we go to the cards, and Chris Garrity right after this on 57 Sports. Replays now from round number 3 as JT Schulte tried to get something going, tried to get inside, but didn't have a lot of success in doing so.
Yes, we see that jump to the guillotine there. Schulte tried to mount some kind of offense, showed flashes, but Austin just too smooth for that submission. Even when he got reversed off his back, tried to hit that arm bar at the end of the round, and just a really good, solid performance for Austin Lutchen.
Well, his corner's feeling pretty good about it. They are posing already for pictures there in the cage, and we don't even have the decision yet. So let's see what our judges thought of this one, if they saw what we saw in this fight, and that was a lot of scoring by the Funky Bird. Chris Garrity still over there getting the decision. Now he is ready to grab the mic and jump up into the cage. All right, let's get the official word right now from Chris Garrity.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of welterweight action, we go to the judges' scorecards. Both Judge Struck and Zanatala score the bout 29-28, while Judge Sabatis has it 30-27. All in favor of your winner by unanimous decision, and fighting out of the red corner, Austin Funky Bird Lutchen.
The refs did see, or the judges, excuse me, did see what we
All
saw.
right, ladies and gentlemen,
that's a
4
unanimous
exciting
decision
bouts
win
left,
for the Funky Bird. All right, we're done with the
professional
amateur
bouts,
side of
including
things.
the return
We go
of
to
Mark
the pros.
Lemminger. So here
next
we go,
at
ladies and
Chosen
gentlemen.
Few
We will
Fighting
take a
Championships
very
number
short
15
10-minute
on
break.
57 Sports.